Barbara, and I am back with your senior tip for today. And today we're going to be talking about something that's majorly important, and that's emergency assistance. The number one thing that we have come to learn about seniors is that there's a fear that starts to build up of falling in the shower, falling anywhere, and not getting the help that they need. So the first thing that we're talking about is living at home versus independent retirement community. Okay, so one of the things is one thing that you might be concerned about yourself, or it might be your loved one or a neighbor or so forth that has some anxiety. They're anxious because they're concerned that no one will come if they need help, or that they won't be able to get the help they need because they've fallen and there's nothing to grab a hold of, or they just don't have the energy to pull themselves up. And so, you know, a lot of times people are sitting with this anxiety, very rightfully so, that something might happen and no help may come. And so that's one of the things that you might want to be thinking about when you're trying to decide if you're going to move from your living at home or a more really extremely independent place. Like there's adult mobile home parks, there's senior living 55 plus. You know, when you're in a place like that, there's going to come a time where you might start to think about these things, and when you're deciding whether to make that change and transition into the next step, which is independent retirement community. It is not a nursing home. It is not a nursing home. Assisted living is not even a nursing home. But there are independent retirement communities that provide 3 meals a day and housekeeping and on-site staff member and transportation. So when you're thinking about making that transition with the emergency assistance thing in mind, one of the things that will help eliminate some of your anxiety is being in a retirement community where there is other people around 24 hours a day. So, and the other thing is, this is for people that are looking for maybe a loved one, or are you going to begin to have this conversation with your loved one? One of the things they may not be telling you is that they do have anxiety, or that they're afraid to call you. Now, many of you that have a senior parents or grandparents, you might understand that you're telling them constantly, Grandma, call me if you need help. Grandpa, just pick up the phone and call me. And they won't, because they don't want to burden you. See, they understand that they had full lives, full of stuff going on in their lives, and so they don't want to burden you in your life. But if you're a senior, go ahead and call your family. Don't feel like you're a burden, because you are not. You are absolutely not a burden. But if you are the child and you're concerned about your parent or your grandparent or what have you, these are some of the things that could possibly be rolling around in their mind, things, anxiety. And these are the tools that may help them overcome and make that decision to transition into a nice, safe place, an independent retirement community where there is immediate help available. Like many of the retirement places have emergency pull strings or emergency alert systems in the individual apartments. And so, and when you pull that alarm, then there's somebody usually right down the hallway, or just down a couple floors, if they're on multiple levels, and that can come and help assist them in an emergency situation. And many of the places have a staff member on site 24 hours a day. Now, I know that we're coming into a new time, and a lot of retirement places are no longer staffing their their staff on site, and they're moving towards having an emergency alert system. But I think that, you know, you want to be asking the questions, how long will it take your people to respond? Are you responding, or is it just going through an emergency response system and then calling 911? But there are plenty of retirement places in all around the world, but here in Yakima, that have on-site 24-hour managers, okay, and that and staff, so that if you pull that string, they're going to be right down there quickly. And if you opt in to have an emergency alert system that you wear on your neck or your wrist, which is highly recommended, then they can be the first contact person would be that individual, the on-site staff member, and they'd be right down there within minutes. And so that relieves that anxiety, and this takes the burden off your loved one and yourself of worrying about calling somebody in the family to help, because the emergency staff member will get down there, and sometimes it's just something very simple that can be rectified right on the spot. And then they can help the loved one make that call, or decide whether to make the call or not to their family member, and or call 911 for them. And they won't be alone. That's the thing. Somebody will be with them the whole time. And so in many of the facilities, but you definitely want to make sure that each facility handles the procedure in that way. Now, I know there's one or two facilities in places and communities and centers in Yakima that the staff member, if they're alerted that there's an emergency, they stay with the individual until either they're okay, or they go off with the ambulance and the emergency medical team. So, all right, so those are some real serious things to think about. If you have any questions or comments, please fill that out below. I would love to hear what you have to say, or any topics that you would like me to share on. I hope that helps you. Please like and subscribe to this channel, and tell others that who may benefit by hearing some of these tips and tricks that will help seniors, you and or your loved one, make a decision that's best for you and your loved one. So thank you, and have a great day.